which is different than the kind of code enforcement officers that are around in the town. He is also the code enforcement officer for 4 towns down in the Lake George area. And he said, I asked him specifically about laws for short-term rentals and how much teeth they have without having zoning or comprehensive plan. And he said, you can pass a law, but if someone fights it, then without having a comprehensive plan or zoning, they could fight it. But he says if you're in the process of doing a comprehensive plan, that goes a long way in the eyes of the law that you're trying to do what's right for your town, so on and so forth. So we need to kick that off, but in the meantime, Joey did some research and found a local law which we adapted, and I did get a hold of that same code enforcement officer and had him kind of look through what I did, and he said, you're saying what you need to say without going overboard. So I do have copies of it because I'm going to put it on the website. So if you want a copy of this when you go, it has the proposed local law and also what the short-term rental application would look like that would have to be filled out. So it's going to go on the website, but I know that people in here are interested about it. So when you leave, take one of those. But I want to, I'd like to schedule a public hearing on that local law for next meeting, July 24th at 4:45, to do a public hearing on that, just so that, and in the meantime, I'll put it up on the website as soon as I can so that people have a chance to look at it over the next 30 days and can come, you can come fully aware what it is and what it involves. It's really not asking them to do anything that any responsible homeowner wouldn't do anyway. Making sure it involves a fire marshal that comes and makes sure, hey, you got a 2-bedroom house, no, you can't rent it to 18 high school kids for their graduation. Things that makes it, you gotta have fire extinguishers, you gotta have smoke alarms, you have to have a CO2 alarm, things like that, but it's all in there. So please take one when you go, and I'll be putting it on the website afterwards. So can I get a motion to schedule a public hearing for next month?
I'll make a motion to schedule a public hearing next month for a time window of just commence at 4:45 p.m. on the 24th of July.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Cooling center, I just want to remind people, if you know someone that does, we invited people last week when we were having all that hot weather, but just let people know that if they're in a situation where they don't have air conditioning or fans or, whatnot, anytime, we're open here, people are welcome to come in, cool off, give them someplace to, comfortable to sit, cool off, give them some water, whatever. We can turn on the TV, I think there's Roku on there, they can watch old shows of Price is Right with Bob Barker. So you can, so just, spread the word. If you know people that are in a situation where they will need a cooling center when it gets hot, more than welcome to come in. Security locks and cameras. I'm going to let Jason take the ball on this one, and I'll be right back.
We got an outfit called Barclays out of Canton. They did put a lock system in the firehouse and line up for me. They do security cameras and locks. So I had them come down and did an overview of pretty much all our properties in the town. Updating some stuff here. The beach, put a few cameras there. Be able to shoot pretty much everywhere and kind of get the dam too, make sure nobody messes with the dam or anything like that. I took them up to the chlorination plant and the sewer plant. those pretty much have pretty high fences and stuff, so probably get away with one camera shooting at the entrance up there. We're just looking at different quotes, getting some quotes from them, but there are some stuff out there. And I think if we do something at the beach, we're probably gonna leave the power on there for the winter, just leave it going all winter.
What about the parks?
So the playground, so the only two playgrounds, unfortunately, is Phillips Court and Wilford King Road because there's no actual building there. So you have to have some kind of a building to put the system in, because it's a little box that they put in there. So we have to kind of look at some other options if we do want to put a camera in the playgrounds, what we can do. Because for power wise, there's no power and there's no building there for anything. So like the beach has power there, has a building there, so we can put the building in there for the station, and then they'll send it to the readers. And here's just updating, and the other places out of the building, it's just the two playgrounds. You'd have to kind of, and you'd have to have it high enough somewhere up there anyway, because, you know, they're gonna get vandalized. You'd have to have it on a pole or something up there shooting down. So I don't know, we could try to figure something out for the two playgrounds, but them are the only two places that we couldn't really do anything with right now. Unless we come up with some kind of idea of putting a building there and,
Did you mention, about, possibly putting a camera on the gatehouse too, at the dam?
yeah, well, so, I touched base on that, I told you a little bit about that. So basically where the bathroom outhouse is at the beach, there'd be a camera on the backside, and it'll shoot right straight over and it'll get both the spillway and the gatehouse. And if need be, we could put one probably on the gate, and they'll read to that, they can send a reader to that, system. So you're talking like maybe 4 or 5 cameras over there.
Mhm.
Did they show you pictures of clarity, so we don't have
Oh, yeah.
granular?
Yeah,
It's a big difference.
What is it, 4K, what are they, like the,
So
yeah,
once
he
the-
showed me like what they have outside their building, and cars going by, and you could freeze it, and you could read their license plates. I mean, it was,
Because we still haven't found the guy that dropped the feces behind the building, do we?
no.
So these cameras here on this building are like really outdated.
Yeah, these cameras
So
are,
it's in dire need of upgrade here. But I took them around and just showed them all our properties, because I think if we, you know, the chlorination plant, I mean, yeah, it's up in the middle of nowhere, but, I mean, you got dirt bikes and four-wheelers and everything else going up in there, but, I mean, there's a high fence there, but like I said, at each location up there, one camera would be sufficient. I mean, like Pat, like if he's out during the day, if that gate's open, you're gonna get whoever's coming in that entranceway. I
And
mean, kids can get under the fence in some spots, but
and Homeland
it's
Security.
a lot of money. I mean, you're looking at a lot of money, and
Yeah.
some stuff's vandalized up there, I mean,
Yeah, Homeland
The
Security
playgrounds have
has
been
told us,
vandalized.
has told us
well, them
that
are the only two places we gotta pretty
our
much kind of
assets,
look at, trying to, coming up with something.
yeah.
Playgrounds, you could use cellular game cams with
Yeah, we just have,
a solar
we
panel,
just have to hide it somewhere,
yeah,
and
high up.
kind of put it up high so that they can't get to it, so we gotta.
Yeah,
look at
and we don't
those
care if they
areas.
see it, it's just we don't want them to get to it.
You'll be able to-
And we have been told by Office of Emergency Services that our terrorist target type assets, like our water systems and our sewer systems and our dam, those kinds of things, they don't want anybody near it. And I had emergency services tell me, oh, you really shouldn't be letting anybody near the gatehouse or whatnot. It's like, people have been fishing off this dam forever. We're not gonna stop them. We could put up 1,000 fences and get to it by boat. I mean, you know, look around, it's just, you can access it anywhere, so it's not like,
Yeah, people have
you know,
been
that's
pushing everything.
spitting in the wind doing something like that, but, you know, it's a sad state of, sad statement on today's world that we have to, you know,
Yes.
do that, but
It's there.
everything's, you know, everything's more expensive to fix, and there's a lot more people out there with nothing better to do than destroy things, so,
That's,
so we're working on that.
you see
Good.
some-
The camera up in the Veterans Park, you could probably pull power out of the pump house, they might let you do that,
Yeah,
We talked about that too, for getting that, so that might be,
you know.
once we get this all done, is an add-on.
any place that we have, you know, assets that, because it's, you know, it belongs to all of us, and when you have
I'm sure
bad
there's some
actors that
cameras
come in
there
and screw with it, it not only pisses you off, but it costs you money, so, we're gonna do what we can to, you hate to do it because, you know, you never used to have to do stuff like that, but Now
He
we do.
just contacted me back yesterday, and they're getting some stuff together, so I imagine the next few days we'll have some quotes for it. They're really good outfit.
What's the name of it?
Barclays, Locks and Security. They just did a bunch of towns, like up Cranberry Lake, and they're all over the place. I had an outfit the outfit from Plattsburgh come, and they gave me a quote, almost $12,000 to $13,000. And these guys came and put this system in for like $7,500.
That's one deductible.
Cost of that bathroom,
Yeah, it's $5,000 deductible.
cost of the
Yeah.
bathroom.
I mean, so, it's not a lot of money.
Well, at least with our new insurance
They did a good
company, our
job.
deductibles are lower. But,
They're doing it for police stations and towns and all these highways and stuff, so they're a pretty good outfit.
Good, thanks for that.
anybody else have new business?
Actually, I do, I was gonna bring it up under, my committee report. We
Mhm.
should give an update on our meeting with the village.
Okay, do you wanna wait till
Do it on
committee
the
report?
Do it, okay.
I just want to backpedal on one thing too, in the cooling center they offered.
Mhm.
So, some people don't know too, like, and I don't care if you live down here or you live in the village or whatever, but if you have a power outage or whatever, our firehouse has got a generator, there's a generator here, so anybody is on auction or anything like that, you can always bring, call one of us, call me for the fire department, and like I said, I don't care if you live in the village, you can come up, go up there, we've got the kitchen, full bathrooms, everything like that. So keep that in mind too, if anybody in need for that, just throwing that out there.
And that works for in the winter as well. I mean, we had, emergency services had gone around and basically asked all the different town halls and fire stations and whatnot, who could provide power if we had a major snowstorm that knocked all the power out, and this was one of the places, so, had that major snowstorm, someone doesn't have a generator or means, can come here and at least stay warm and get services to them.
The big thing in that is you got stubborn. There's a lot of stubborn people. When you get older, you get stubborn. You don't want to do it. And unfortunately, you see it happen all the time now. They try to hook that generator up and, carbon dioxide or whatever. Don't be afraid to reach out. I mean, that's what, taxpayers pay for it. We got that service.
And don't be heating inside of your house with your
Take
pellet
advantage
grill.
of it,
It's not gonna work. Okay, I don't think I have anything else. Let me check real quick. All right, so I talked about an engineer. Oh, dog shelter. You all saw the article about Elmore having to turn away several towns, we're being one of them. I went to a meeting last Friday or Friday before. It was a Friday anyway. At the town of Plattsburgh, all the affected towns were there. And fortunately, we have there is a solution to that. Jody Perrier, P-E-R-R-E-A, who is the dog control officer for Champlain, Shazy, and Beekmantown, is in the process of buying a place that was, that boarded animals. The owners currently are like in their late 80s and they want to sell it. So he is looking to purchase that and open up a shelter, basically run it as a shelter. And so at this meeting, he just asked for us to, he said, can you give us a letter of intent saying that if I open the shelter and it meets all the regulations, and Janet Collier was at this meeting as well with Ag and Markets, and she fully supports him. If we gave him a letter of intent that says, yes, we'll use you if you open, so that he can get a loan. That's part of his, the business plan is that here's how many people would use me. So I gave him the letter of intent that said that town of Dannemora would certainly use his shelter if he opens it. So he's hoping to be open in September. And that is when our contract with, with Elmore, they gave us 90-day notice, so it actually is done at the end of September. Ironically, right now, they can't take any more animals anyway because they, with the new regulation coming down, the size of their facility will only house 12 animals, and they currently have 26. So even if we have a dog that needs to be sheltered, we can't do it there. We have the ability to shelter animals here, and Janet she pointed Tom Danamora out, saying that we are basically the only town in the area that is safe as far as sheltered animals go, because she has inspected where we have our cage here, and it meets the qualifications for a temporary shelter. So if Danielle picked up a dog and it took her 2 days to find who owns it, we have the sheltering capability here. We've got it all set up in one of the storage areas near on the other side of the wall here. So we're temporarily okay if we have to have a dog that gets picked up or whatever. But in September, that should be a fix for the towns that got bumped out of Elmore. So, and I think it'll be a much better, because he will also be able to take dangerous dogs, which Elmore couldn't. So, which is why we built our shelter, because we couldn't find a shelter that would take dangerous dogs. And so we have the 6-foot cage with a cover. It's on, all the qualifications, all the specifications for it. We have it here, so we're in good shape. But we'll be in better shape once September rolls around, because we'll have an actual real shelter that we can. And until then, hold on to your dogs. Don't let them loose.
Keep them on a leash.
So that, something I want to bring up is 4th of July weekend. Last year, we had an issue, and this is the first time that we've had this issue, is we actually had people go on the beach, near the playground, on the beach, shooting fireworks from the beach. So we need to figure out a way to nip that in the bud. And I don't care about anywhere else on the lake, and it's a great show, but they can't be on the beach where kids are playing and kids are swimming and whatnot. So I have talked to the state police to find out who's in this area, and they're kind of like, well, we can't just concentrate on there. I'm going to call Sheriff's Department to see if they'd be willing to, hey, somebody got easy duty, can just sit at the beach with your vehicle. That would probably be enough to keep people from driving onto the beach and unloading all their fireworks, or even as far as hiring a private security to do
Well,
it, because it's.
Do we have signage that states no explosive firearms or
It
whatever?
don't matter if you.
Yeah, but
I
if
mean-
you don't have signage,
Yeah, but
then it's hard to prosecute.
But it's illegal in New York to be shooting fireworks anyway, so, I mean, so
But-
it's kind of like a technical thing, like,
If you even have signage, violators will be prosecuted to the highest degree. I mean, something.
But we just have to get them, we have
You're supposed to have
yeah, anything that leaves the ground
Is
is illegal.
And it was big fireworks.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people there, a lot of kids there, and then not only that thing, they left all their freaking garbage.
And that was the worst, the next day
All
when
their
Matt went to
fireworks, they left all the
clean,
garbage.
all that trash that comes from fireworks was right there on the
Sand.
dam, all over the grass, so it took them a day to clean up all the
It
garbage.
was a mess.
That was there, so, I don't know, I mean, we gotta do something. I thought about, okay, the easiest thing would be to close the gate before it gets dusk, but then you've got all the people that go there to watch the fireworks, that will go sit at the beach and watch what's going on all around. So we don't wanna hurt the people that typically go there, because you got, again, a couple of jackasses that, don't take into consideration that, hey, there's a playground right here. If one of these things shoots sideways and hits a kid, or hey, people are swimming in the, the lake or whatever.
Probably have 2 days to contend with, they probably have the
Oh,
fourth,
I
and they
think
probably
the-
have Saturday.
I think we have all weekend.
Oh,
I think we have from the 4th
But
until
those two will
Monday.
be, those two will be big.
I think the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, that whole weekend is gonna be like that, so,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm open to suggestions.
it'd be
Um,
nice if the
think
sheriff's
signage
went, but I don't
is
think
good,
they're
though,
gonna commit
if
to
you
that
were to-
timeframe.
Put some signs there,
Right.
put it on the internet, blast it out there, please do not do this at the
Mhm.
beach, find another place, put a couple signs there, and hope for the best, and maybe just do a little private policing of it, you know?
It would be nice though if our local sheriff could just
Well, I'm
come up
hoping,
and just do a patrol through there, right?
Yeah, at an hour before dark, because it's gonna take them time to set up.
yeah,
so
just,
somebody's gonna be
go
setting
in
up.
there and do a little whoop whoop with your, as they go in and just, hey, when you're driving by, pull into the beach, cruise around in there. I do have one state trooper that's willing to do it, but, I mean, obviously if he gets called somewhere, he's not gonna be able to do that, so,
I didn't wanna break the bad news last year, there was a lot of people there. I called Deb, I'm like.
well,
"You guys don't
and he
go
was
on the
there.
other side." I'm like,
And I went there, but
I don't
it's
know
like,
what happened.
okay, now you got people who have probably been drinking a lot, they've got all these fireworks. Am I gonna confront this person? No.
it was
It's not in my job description, I'm not law enforcement, and I don't really feel like getting beaten up.
it was
It
the first
takes
time it
them a
happened.
long time to set up.
Yeah, so,
Wow.
I mean, we're gonna do
really
signage,
surprised.
we'll put it out there, try to get the troopers and sheriff and to come by and kinda let people know.
Put it on the internet, kind of sell it for the,
As
for
they're
the
going
safety
to
of it, for
Yeah.
the kids, and, just don't say don't do it, sell it,
Yeah. Well, yeah. The people that were there doing it last year, I don't think they gave a rat's
No,
hurry
probably
behind whether or not
Some
they-
people you can't change.
did that, but, I mean, we're gonna, and just to let you know, I mean, get the word out, hey, if you see a truck come into the beach and the back end of it is full of fireworks, give somebody a call so we can nip it before they start, because, I mean, they had, pallets with all their things nailed to it, and, I mean,
No, it was
it
pre-set up.
was a very,
It was a drop in light system.
it was a very big,
So if you put in these new cameras, will they be able to catch that,
Yeah.
and see that, and identify people and all that?
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. and
Well,
we'll
we're
have
talking,
to-
uh,
let Clody's take it out.
it's 26 now, I mean, I doubt there's gonna be a camera there for that.
You know what you can
Yeah.
do is you can do a poker move, put it out on the internet and say there's cameras, and if you're caught, violators will be prosecuted. They don't have to know there ain't anything there this year.
And they can, and then say that there's.
All right, so we won't put the recording
exactly.
on, we won't put the recording online until after the
Yeah,
fourth.
yeah.
Play a poker move,
But-
or bluff,
Yeah, so I
Because a
just
lot
want
of
to make,
people did the dam too.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's always been that way, and I certainly, I'm a big fan of fireworks just as much as the next person, not on a playground though, not where there's kids, not where there's families.
Especially the amount of people that were there, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the playground, and it was nice to see, it was dark.
Because the kids.
The playground was loaded. I mean, there were 50 kids playing and having a great time and laughing, and the families were there, and then you had these, near the bathrooms, they had backed the trucks up, and that's where they were, so,
they had the big stuff, I was like, holy moly.
yeah, I mean, they were gone by
Yeah, they were.
10 o'clock, I mean, they were gone by 10 o'clock,
But then
but
it's a mess.
they made a mess,
Well,
and
there
if
is-
something had happened, it would have been catastrophic. So, I just wanted to put that out there, that
Good point.
if you see, we're gonna do our best to keep them away, and, if you see something screwy on the beach that day, if you happen to be going by, then let one of us know so we can jump on it.
Oh, and I'm talking about the beach thing too, just a heads up, don't, a lot of people have reserved the pavilion, and if you plan on having a galley or whatever, just check with it, because there's a lot of people that have reserved it already,
Mhm.
so.
Yep.
Big person for that, I'm sure.
And our lifeguards start Saturday, like we said.
Bless you, Mike.
What if you paid the lifeguards overtime to, monitor what's going on the beach? No?
16 and 17-year-olds. I don't
All you gotta do is
even,
make a phone call.
Yeah.
You don't have to intervene, just make a phone call.
yeah. Well, they've already been told about if they see somebody come in to call us, you know. Because like everyone said, you know, they're gonna be there early enough where they want their spot and they're gonna set up and all that. If they notice that, they're to call us so we can stop it before it starts. And hopefully we can get some uniforms and some marked cars to also bring the concept home that's not in the right place for it. There's plenty of other places that people pull up to and do it, and we turn a blind eye to that, and so do the troopers and the sheriffs, but not near where kids are playing. So that's it for me. Jim?
No, because,
Jason?
just, I'll let Joey talk about the EMS, we brought it up, so I'm good.
Mike?
So I have one thing, it's just, so Emma King Park, Phillips Court Park seems to be doing quite well. I've asked before about weed whacking, I don't know if I need to make a motion to, apparently young John Schuster is willing to work on his day off. There's 3 and 4 foot bushes growing inside the pickleball court. Doesn't have to be weed whacked every time, but every 3rd or 4th time you cut, weed whack it. I mean, the fences, it looks horrible, the trees are growing in the park. That's probably a couple day, or at least a day's work to get all that shit out of inside that pickleball park.
On Emma King?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just add, it keeps it, I mean, it takes some stuff down, I mean, keep it clean and.
Jason
I did the beach.
he did the beach?
2.5 hours.
Yeah, I will make a point of telling Ninja.
You did you're talking the mulch at the beach.
No, we back the beach.
Oh, weed whack the beach, yeah.
Almost 3 hours.
That's, I mean, if you go up the fence, if you do all around the pickleball court, plus, but I think you're gonna need a shovel and a wheelbarrow inside. I mean, enough of that has come inside, these plants are this high and they're leaning out into the inside of the park.
I talked to John today, he said that he'd be willing to work on some Fridays or do some of that stuff.
Who does the mowing?
Once
The,
it's caught
oh.
up, I think it's,
Back, to-
You know.
you mentioned pickleball. I called that company in Vermont and put my name on the list for next year for them to come and do the pickleball courts, because as we know,
yeah, they'll do okay, but when they get over to that sideline towards the woods there's 3 or 4 spots, those bushes are coming right to the out of play line,
when Matt comes in
Right away,
tomorrow,
right.
I'll send him over. Yep.
brush cutters, a shovel.
And then,
I mean, there's gotta be dirt there, if grass and weeds and trees are growing there's gotta be dirt inside it. I haven't personally looked at it, but.
and I did have one thing I forgot, an update on the basketball hoops. I delivered them to Robbie, put one set together, he's working on the other set, so
He
there
was
will be
on our
one.
Is he cursing?
He was there today.
He was at Emmett King today.
Was he checking it out? Okay, so you'll probably call me, he probably left a message already. So, them are gonna be coming up pretty quick.
What about the spring on the mountain? We usually weed whack that there?
No,
No?
No, that's not the
Convicts
state.
usually do
Yeah.
the,
Convicts at it?
facility was doing it forever.
Yeah.
I'll throw a word out, see if we can get that
I'll
done.
throw it
I
through, I
noticed
think.
that's pretty bad shape.
I think
Getting
Del
the brushing.
Crawford was doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nice little stop should be cleaned up.
Joey?
I don't know who's got the crews that clean.
Did you want to make a comment on the pickleball?
We had, it'll take me a minute to find it. We were driving in the car and we were down by our daughters and an advertisement, did I text it to you, Joey, or?
Yeah, my phone's at home.
Let me see. I'm not good with technology, let me find Joey.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll do my report.
Okay.
So we've been very patient with the village. Too patient, I will say. I'll make that comment. Too patient with the village. And finally, we had a This is how it's gonna work meeting 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we are now getting some stuff moving, or how it should have been moving a month and a half ago. Maybe actually 2 months ago.
Basically, it should have been done by January 1st.
And, but a lot of it came down to, I'd say improper direction, poor management, and not keeping us in the loop regarding next steps for what we're doing with the village EMS and what we contribute to the village.
And what they're supposed to be doing in Lime Mountain.
Exactly. So I think we had a pretty good meeting. We kind of outlined expectations, what we felt should be done, have not been done. I think some of it, I'm gonna be honest with you, was better left said, unsaid than not said, and it didn't get back to us on certain issues that I thought were resolved, that were not resolved because there wasn't good communication. So, second part is basically we needed to reach out to our attorney, Matt Favreau, to get us back on the right track, and he was gonna basically look at it to see if he had enough depth of expertise to get us back on the right track. If not, he was gonna put us with an attorney to get us back with the person that has the right depth of knowledge to get us back on track with everything to do with the EMS issues with the village, and then personnel being in Lime Mountain, personnel going through the streets of Lime Mountain and the areas that we covered that are now ours. So I did see the ambulance go through Lime Mountain, because up there making around and just checking out some roads, and I saw the ambulance go through, and the lights weren't on. It was cruising at about 15 miles an hour, so it must have did. Have you seen it go out? Well, no?
There was a call, and they were in the wrong area.
When was that, do you know? Roughly?
You talk about
Turn the
standard,
camera off, I'll tell you.
Are talking about the Standish issue, or, oh, yeah. That's,
Not-
yeah,
not-
that's a whole different
Yeah,
issue.
but not the,
Not Stanley.
no,
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah, that was,
And they were running around, they didn't know where we're going. We came down here, 15, 20 minutes, and they were going back to where they belong, 374.
Okay, that's
It was totally wrong area.
we can find that out.
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, just bring this point to conclusion, and we were all there because it wasn't an issue where we could not all be there based on board rules. I'm having our entire board there. It was a meeting, a simple meeting to understand what was going on with the service that should be provided to us. So we are all there at that meeting, the section of the gym, and the other board members can pipe in where they want. But there's no doubt that there is a little evil.
Yeah, they just.
There is a little evil in that little quorum they have about what they share and what they don't share. And we kind of uncovered some of that just from the meeting we had, and I think we're on a better track. Matt got back
We're gonna
to
break
us.
that evil.
Okay. So,
Well,
Yeah, it's, yeah. I think there were some holdups in Albany, there were some holdups at the county, some big holdups at the county.
finger pointing, a lot of finger pointing going on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, they just finger point the heck out of,
It's kind of a,
So have we got storm to move, or we haven't got storm to
Yes,
move?
yes. What's the rest, what happened? Where?
So there was a lot of finger pointing going on, and it looked like where a lot of the drop the ball was at Storms level,
at the county.
the county, and then the Albany level, the Mountain Lakes level.
yeah, they oversee the EMS for this region. They kept postponing and canceling, and they were supposed to have a meeting and.
Basically, in a nutshell, the village is basically about just sitting back, waiting.
So they can't have.
So this CON hasn't transferred over yet. We're gonna have a meeting, they're gonna pass it, so they canceled it.
She's the number two.
So the village hasn't been they haven't been going by what we agreed on a contract, basically. They've been sitting back waiting.
So we caught,
So now we're pushing them forward, saying, hey, there's other stuff we can be doing until the CON comes in. They're still taking it. They have a good response time, but I want them in Lime Mountain a little more like they were supposed to be, and things like that. Now when our ambulance starting to get used, and we talked about that, so we're processing that. That's gonna get, maintenance is getting done on that right now, and the proper channels to that's gonna be going, so they're gonna start using our ambulance. They're gonna take the drug box off their ambulance, put on our ambulance, so they're gonna use both of them until we get the CON. Once we get the CON, then both ambulances will be up to fit. So that, just waiting for the CON, it's on the state level, it's on the county level, it keeps, so basically we're talking about seeing who the next level is, because it keeps getting canceled for someone else.
yeah, so to Jason's point, where it's at, there's enough tension within the circle of Mountain Lakes pertaining to one of the directors, that there's consideration of movement of that person.
Do we look good for next year? I mean, or is this something that, once this issue is resolved, next year should be seamless? We should just.
I think, you know, it's one of those work in progresses, Frank. We want to make sure that, I mean, one of our end goals was that both of those rigs would be staffed.
Yeah.
So,
They're trying to think about the future too, but we're trying to get this going first and get it in the right direction. And then start worrying about, all right, now we got it going, we got a good thing, so next year, this is looking good. But there could be an awful lot of things that could change for next year too. Other ends.
well, and to Jason's point, we're hearing a lot of things too, that with all the, like, let's take the Saranac. It's a good issue to bring up just to show you just how Saranac felt that their best deal of the day was to go with Morrisonville. Well, Saranac is not feeling that right now. That their best deal of the day is not to go with Morrisonville.
And either is Ellenberg. Ellenberg is also under Morrisonville, which Ellenberg used to contract partially with Lime Mountain. Saranac contracted with Dannemora. Between Dannemora and Dannemora, we at least limp along. These people, they're gonna have a hard time going forward.
They keep taking on more than what they can chew. And we talked about this
Yeah,
before.
Morrisonville's gotten way too big, they can't do it all.
Well, at the end of the day, there's only so many EMTs and paramedics in Clinton County. So all these programs that are trying to run, when CVPH has got an employee and you're paying them double time and a half, they're not gonna come work for you. They're gonna stay right there where the baby is. They're not gonna, oh yeah, I'll come up and work for the village when I get double time and a half down there. And there's only so many EMTs. I mean, you can only draw from so many departments and, you know, in the county. So
But-
that's a big hurt right there, alone.
But what I will say is that, we're fortunate with our village, the village, because we always have qualified people on, there's always
They're never
advanced
short
life-
staffed.
There's always
Never
advanced
short
life.
staffed,
And,
right.
you know, and the deal that Saranac made in Morrisonville is staffing by basic. And most of the time, they're coming out of Morrisonville. So if you got a call in Saranac, they're coming from Morrisonville, like that call to Standish. They were coming from Morrisonville to get to Standish. They weren't coming out of Saranac. So, and I know a contingent of Standish residents made their presence
Yeah,
known
we
at
all
their
got-
board meeting, and
Yeah, we all got some.
and now
complaints on that.
they're sitting up a little bit taller, and the board members are starting to say, oh yeah, well, yeah, Standish is our problem. We should have.
It wasn't,
looked
had
at that a
nothing to
little
do
better.
with us. There was no lack on us. I
Right.
mean, it's a town of Saranac.
Right.
And everybody's like, it's Lime Mountain District. No. Town of Saranac contracts with us for fire coverage and EMS coverage before for Standish. Well, Saranac took their contract back. There is no Lime Mountain EMS anymore. We contract with the village. They just failed to call dispatch and change it in the CAD saying that we covered EMS up there. They just never did it.
Which in the old days, Lime Mountain went and took care of the call.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they paid,
Oh, yeah.
because they contracted.
They contracted with us to do
Well,
that.
like I explained to the people in
Forever.
Standish, at the end of the day, you're still waiting because they're coming from Station 1 in Saranac. Same distance as what it would be from if they were in Dannemora. So,
Yeah, and of course, the best solution, which has been being brought up for the last 30 years, is to have the county control the EMS program,
EMS.
so that everybody in the county gets paid the same. You're not, but you have these big stations now that they're making,
Yeah,
Champlain,
Champlain's
they've
huge.
got the station, all the people they want, so, I think that, my personal opinion, that if once we get over this
This little
hurdle with the personnel at the county and higher, once that gets cleared up and they have somebody in place who's functional, for lack of a better word, I think, because the program's good, we get good response, we know there's always qualified people on the rig, they're not sending out unqualified people, and we have people in Lime Mountain that can jump on it, and they're willing to, and they're ready
Willing
to. It's just, once we get this
Just
rig
to-
rolling,
just to get that CMI
it's gonna be like having it staffed there, so.
So the heat's been turned up, which is needed to be? and, we should see a little more.
Mountain Lake still run out of Essex County?
Yes. Yes.
What is Morrisonville doing to entice these people to sign with them?
They're paying,
So basically what
they're
Morrisville
paying
did,
more. It's
So
money.
basically, they're
Yeah.
also getting a monopoly on everything.
Yeah.
in
They're
the
not-
area,
And they are a
which isn't
nonprofit,
good.
they are a nonprofit. We thought they were a for-profit, but
so this
Our-
is what happened is Morrisville bought Barron's out. Barron's had a CON where they build anywhere in the county. They bought them out, they got their CON, so they can build anywhere in the county, so they're taking on these contracts. So basically, in a nutshell, what I gathered out of this one is they tossed this number out to Saranac for basic coverage. Next year, I heard it's gonna double, because they gotta make up that revenue back. So Saranac's in for a rude.
yeah,
That's all I can say.
it's ugly there. And, I mean, we're secure in what we have. At least we know this service isn't gonna go away. And like you say, Ellenberg and Saranac, they're gonna either have to
There can be
pay
a
a
big
whole lot
surprise
more.
when it
or-
comes for their new amount for 2025. They may hit six figures.
And they're, and it, you know,
Especially
they're,
the size of their district.
what Morrisonville is charging them versus what the village number they gave them, there's about a $20,000 difference.
Yeah. I'd say
Danmore
maybe
was
seven
about
figures.
$20,000 more, but that was having qualified people right there, you know,
On stage.
advanced
Yeah, you're gonna have a
service.
tech, a paramedic or paramedic on 24/7 basically, if they would've stayed where they were, plus two crews. There's gonna be a crew there and a crew in Lime Mountain, 24/7. Their biggest problem was, is for how many years they played for a contract, they were probably paying 67 cents per thousand, roughly, back then. And it went from that to $1.27
Yeah.
or something
26.
for everybody. So everybody, every taxpayer in the EMS program that we were doing was gonna pay that. And they felt good about that. And I wanted to say, well, geez, we were gonna almost pay $5 per thousand when they gave up that contract up there. If we went to help that program out, it would've been almost $5 per thousand. And you're worried about $1.29 or 27, whatever it was, jump from a 67 cent per thousand, I'm like,
Well, you know,
and they have a bigger portion of the district, their district's huge, so they were gonna pay a little bit more of the contract than what everybody else was, but they had the revenue, I mean, they got the,
well, there was, and, I mean, and I think the biggest thing was, there were some personalities
that too.
some personalities in Saranac didn't like the personalities in the village, and so they didn't want to play. So they put their residents at a disadvantage by not giving them the service that they could have had, because they were, you know, grade schoolers.
Saranac CMS captain is on record as saying that the deal that we have with the village of Dannemore and the town of Dannemore is the best thing that can go on for the town, the village, and Saranac. And she was voted down. So,
Anyway,
that's it.
more to come
Just
on that.
one, have you talked with Adirondack Pavement Coating? We were in Clifton Park, going to my granddaughter's recital, and an advertisement came on, and it's called Adirondack Pavement Coating, and they do courts.
Tennis courts, pickleball courts.
Is there a number?
Because
on
when
that?
I had looked it up, when it was on, I looked it up online, so look it up online, I did find it
Okay.
there. But that was the name,
Good.
Check it out.
What's it
Yeah,
again?
because,
Adirondack, whoops.
I mean, I
She
Googled.
wrote it down.
I
Adirondack.
Googled, and, you know, courts, anybody to do courts, I mean, there's some that were down in the Syracuse area, was the closest one in New York. I called Town of Plattsburgh and called, Peru to see, you know, who they used and if they knew of anyone, and they weren't, so that's, I mean, if someone wants to do a startup business, pickleball courts is where the money's at, because there's not many of them, but that's great, I will definitely call them
Yeah.
tomorrow, thank you.
They were very specific on, they do these
courts.
things.
Yeah,
Excellent,
so,
thank you.
okay.
All right, anybody else have anything before we bid you a fond farewell?
Are we going to an executive session?
Do you want to?
I do.
Oh.
Okay, then we are going to have an executive session, so
Thank
thank you all for coming.
That's that.
All right.
Biggest thing to remember when you hear a number on no scanner